Hello, this is Jon Miller, the creator of the Rest of Everest. I think I can safely say that this show is, without a doubt, the most in-depth look into the entire experience of what it takes to climb Everest, as well as some other peaks throughout the Himalayas. But all of the events in this series are shown in chronological order, so if you're new to the show, please go all the way back to episode 000 and watch everything in order. That's truly the best way to enjoy it. Thanks.
This is the Rest of Everest video podcast, an almost unabridged expedition experience.
Hi everyone, Jon Miller here. We have just one more regular episode from Season 5 that I'll release next week. But before that, I wanted to release a few extra episodes consisting of team interviews Chris Marquardt filmed back in 2010 while we were trekking to the Kangshung Face. These interviews are a lot of fun, but they just didn't fit into the typical episodes. So here they are in their entirety, starting with David, Erin, Thilo, and Roger. Over the next few days this week, I'll release the rest of them, and then we'll culminate next week again with the Season 5 finale. Oh, one more thing. There is still room on our 2013 Kailash Workshop Trek. If you'd like to be a part of this incredible experience and, maybe yourself be a part of the future episodes of the Rest of Everest, please visit HimalayanWorkshops.com, or you can always just shoot me an email, Jon@therestofeverest, and I'll get you all the information and get you taken care of. We would love to have you along on this incredible adventure. All right, now on to this interview episode. Here we go.
So, first question. Who are you? Where are you from?
I'm David Radke from Houston, Texas.
What do you do as your day job?
My day job. I'm an engineer that supports the products that my company makes all over the world.
Cool. So you travel a lot.
Travel a lot.
What made you decide to become part of the Everest Trek 2010?
Because it's something I wouldn't do completely on my own. And I like the idea of the combination of the mountains and the photography.
Mm-hmm. And did you come through Jon's show, through the Two Tips from the Top Floor? What were the motivators there?
Ultimately, Leo Laporte.
Doesn't really matter. Leo?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I learned about both Tips from the Top Floor and the Rest of Everest
through Leo.
Through there.
Cool. Good to know. I'll let Leo know.
And both of those shows, I like them both. And after watching the podcast from last year, every episode I watched made me want to come on the trek more and more.
Mm-hmm.
So,
very cool.
When I had the chance, had to do it.
What are the subjects, if you look over the whole trek from Kathmandu through Lhasa, through Tibet, over to here, to this Kangshung Face region, what are the subjects you shot most and why?
The monasteries were incredible, but I'd have to say my favorites were the changing conditions here in the mountains.
Mm-hmm. So it's the landscape kind of things?
Really the landscapes. And for instance, the day we were right up at East Face Base Camp for Everest, the clouds changed every couple of minutes, and it was incredible to see that.
All right.
And the different pictures that you could get. And even here behind me, the sun coming through the clouds is it's amazing how much it changes just every few minutes and makes the picture different.
Have you done a lot of landscape shooting before?
Yeah, I'd say mostly landscape shooting in the past.
Okay, so you come from that area, you know what to do. What would you suggest to anyone watching this? Kind of a few simple landscape photography tips.
Just look for something that's interesting to you.
Okay.
And concentrate on that. And don't try to get everything.
Mm-hmm.
Try to pick part of the landscape.
Okay. So
in the past, I know I've tried to get everything all at one time.
Getting super wide angle doesn't always help you.
No. Sometimes it can convey something, but it doesn't always help.
How about shots of people?
No, that's real. I've gotten a lot of those that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
Where going down a trail, I'll get the landscape in the background and people going down the trail or coming back up the trail towards us.
Have you gotten a lot of cool people shots in like the cities?
Some. That was kind of the fun part in Kathmandu.
Okay.
going down some of the little streets and getting the locals made it interesting.
Yeah.
Some real expressive people back there.
So in general, would you consider yourself more of a telephoto or wide-angle shooter?
Combination. It's too hard to do sneaker telephoto in the mountains because it takes too long and it's too high of elevation.
So you need some zooming there.
Yeah, but I use a lot of telephoto to get the part of the landscape that I'm most interested in.
Right. So what's your favorite photo thing that you brought on this trip? Or the one you most used? Could be a gadget, could be a tip or a trick. Is there anything you've used over and over and over again?
Oh.
Apart from
the camera.
The camera. Which is, you have to say, you shoot a 5D Mark II?
5D Mark II.
With the trusty 24-105 millimeter.
Absolutely.
Which most of us have on.
And I have almost hardly at all taken it off.
Mm.
But the favorite camera gadget.
Well, strap-wise, you're using...
The straps are good.
Straps are good?
Yeah, they're working real well.
Okay.
Strapping it to the backpack. The lens pen has worked out real good.
You have a lens pen?
Yep.
Do you clean just the lens or also the viewfinder?
Oh, yeah, I've done the viewfinder a few times.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly concentrate on the lens.
All right. What would you leave at home next time?
What would I leave at home next time? I brought too many snacks. John had a good time the other day handing a bunch of my snacks out to the Sherpas when we were still up high at the East Face Base Camp.
We're getting treated quite well from a kitchen point of view.
Oh, the food is incredible.
Yep. What is the most important thing in terms of photography that you've learned on this trip so far?
Most important thing is to pay attention to the histogram.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the most important thing.
Get the exposure right.
Yep. And know when you can go for more exposure. I think that's the biggest thing. I haven't had a problem underexposing anything up here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Plenty of light.
Light is not the issue here.
No.
Usually it isn't. With all this huge landscape, the big mountains, did you manage to show the scale of things? And if yes, how did you do it?
The best way I've found to do that is to get people down the trail ahead of you far enough to see how small they are relative to everything in the background.
So it's using a reference.
A reference, yeah. Something that everybody knows.
Okay. And last but not least, could you explain the Marquardt Scale in simple words?
In simple words. It's the old bathroom scale. Between 1 and 2. And when 2 starts to be a lot like 1, then you're real low on the Marquardt scale, and that's a problem. Haven't had that problem yet. Hope not to. But simple words, yep. 1 is pee and 2 is poo, and if you're trying for 2 and it comes out 1, that's bad. I think that's the best I can do with that one. I don't know.
Okay, thank you. I'm not gonna torture you much longer with that. It'll be nice.
It's a big topic, though. It's a big topic here.
Yes, I'll cut those together from like I'll edit a lot out and I'll cut those together from different people, and so we'll hopefully have the end up with a definite Marquardt Scale explanation video that'll cover like things from different points of view.
Have it described to the absolute detail.
Yes. Okay, that was 8 minutes. Okay.
8 minutes. Wow.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
God, I hope I don't fart while you're doing this.
Well, just
may
rip one
happen.
out
It may
loud
happen.
as loud as you want. Okay, what's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Erin. I'm from Austin, Texas.
What do you do for a living, if you don't mind the question?
I work for the Department of the Treasury, the federal government.
Ooh. Okay, what made you decide to become part of the Everest Trek 2010?
I actually got a phone call from Jon. They needed to fill some spaces, and I got invited, and I jumped at the chance.
And did you regret it?
Only the second day of trekking. That was the only time I thought twice about it.
That was kind of tough.
It was a rough day.
Yeah.
That was a long, hard day.
So, you know, I'm the photo guy on the trek. You didn't really come as a photographer,
Right.
but I'm still gonna ask you some photography questions.
Okay.
What kind of subjects did you shoot most? And just think about the whole trek from Kathmandu over Lhasa to all the cities over here. What kind of things?
You know, I actually shot a lot of faces,
Uh-huh.
whether they be like real faces or like glacier faces or things that I saw as faces, rocks that made faces. I really took to the face thing.
Cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. So that covers people, obviously. So you also shot pictures of people.
Yeah, generally, but more just faces, their faces. I
You had
didn't
this face thing going.
shoot the bodies. I didn't shoot what they were doing. It was more just
Okay.
faces.
Are you more of a telephoto or wide-angle shooter?
What's telephoto?
That's the when you zoom all the way in.
I like the zooming in. I
Okay.
prefer that.
So kind of getting things bigger in the frame.
Right, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm asking you questions that are probably for a different audience, but what is your most favorite photo thing you brought on this trip?
My most favorite photo thing I brought?
Yes. Apart from like the camera? Nothing.
I didn't bring a damn photo thing on this trip. I brought my film, and that is my favorite thing, and I haven't gotten to use any film because I didn't find a film camera in Kathmandu.
Oh, you brought film but
nobody
no
has
camera
one.
for it?
Right.
How come?
Well, I had a camera. I had an AE1, Canon AE1, and I tried it out a week before I came, and it wasn't working, which was not enough time to take it to the camera store. So I only had the film, so I thought I'd bring it just in case. I was hopeful.
And you didn't find a film camera. Too bad.
Yeah.
What would you leave home next time?
What will I leave home next time?
Yeah. It doesn't have to be photographically.
I didn't bring enough. I didn't bring enough stuff. What would I leave home?
So anything you never used and you always come across in your duffel bag and you go, crap, why
Well,
did I bring that?
the film.
The film.
The film, I didn't use the film. The film's sitting in the bag, yeah.
Oh, you got it'll get some exposure when you run it several times with the X-ray.
Or freeze or whatever,
Yeah, freeze or whatever.
It's doing its
That's
thing.
cool. What's the most important thing in terms of photography that you learned on this trek?
Oh my God, I've learned. Everything is important that I've learned. Okay, my most favorite would have to be the depth of field thing with aperture, right? And so like if I'm gonna shoot things using a macro lens, you know, getting flowers really big, like that's important to me to have a nice blurry background and really have a huge subjects. I definitely like that.
Tell me a bit about your newborn relationship with the DSLR. What happened there?
We fell in love, me and the camera. I brought a point and shoot, and a guy on the trek allowed me to borrow his 40D. Was it a 40D? And I took it around one day and just shot everything, and I fell in love. I ran to Chris and I was like, I need one of these. I love it. And I'm gonna go home and get one, I think.
Awesome.
Actually, I'm gonna buy Shaquille's 40D.
So he's got a spare one?
Yeah, he does, in a box still.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Shaq style.
Newfound love.
I love it. And maybe I'll get an iPhone too.
And a Mac.
And a Mac. They kind of all go together. It's a little family. I'm going to start a family.
Awesome. Oh yeah. When it comes to looking at these landscapes, let's just see, we're standing in front of a huge big glacier here.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's right in the background. So what did you try to do in order to show the scale of things here? Because everything's so massively huge.
Well, like when I shot pictures of their glacier remnants, I added some people in it. That's about, I mean, I'm blown away by it. I'm blown away just being here. I don't
So
even...
people for reference?
Right. I don't even know how to photograph it. You could take a picture of a rock and it's going to look like a pebble compared, you know, and it could be a 30-foot boulder. I don't know. I'm blown away. All I've used is other hikers.
Huh, yeah, it's difficult. Okay, last but not least, could you explain the Marquardt Scale in simple terms?
I actually wrote this down in my journal, and I wish I had it with me because I did. I wrote it in about 3 sentences, and it was so concise.
Okay, I'll get back to you. Remember, if you run across it over the next few days, come running
it's
and
in
I'll
my
film
duffel.
it.
Yeah, because you said you were gonna do a contest on it or something, and I was like, oh, I got this. And I
Okay.
wrote it down, and I used all PC terms, and it was great. It wasn't graphic. It was understandable. Even a kindergartner would get it.
Awesome.
Yeah. I
So,
can't remember that now.
very last question just came to me. What do they call you, other than your name here?
Okay, I am the Namaste Ninja.
Okay,
You ready?
I'm ready.
Namaste! Photo money? Does that work? Are we good?
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
What the fuck? I'm not even looking up. Come on, let's go.
Come on!
Come on.
Hey, this
Okay, that's enough. We're done. What the hell?
Where are you? Where are you from?
Hi, my name is Thilo, I'm from Germany.
What do you do for a living, if I may ask?
You may not ask. I'm electrical engineer.
Okay. What made you decide to become part of the Everest Trek 2010?
I don't know what. It was so difficult, so hard decision. Yeah, just I was participating 2009 trek, and I think I want to see the Everest from the two other sides as well. And it's
So you're completing the book here.
yeah,
Did you regret anything so far?
no,
No.
No.
It's awesome, isn't it?
it's an awesome trek, and the people are as well on both treks.
Fun group, huh?
Yeah.
What subjects did you shoot most on this trek? What kind of things?
At first, when we were going through cities where people are, then I tried to catch people, children, and yeah, basically people, and to catch their emotions and so. And here up in the mountains, we are basically alone, just the accent and ourselves. So we have many yaks picture, and I think the rest is landscape,
And cool glaciers.
cool glaciers.
Are you more of a telephoto or a wide angle kind of shooter?
In the city I was more wide angle. Right now I'm more standard, so
Standard zoom.
24 to 105.
So 24 is wide enough, right?
Yeah, but 24 is wide enough. Sometimes you want to. Sometimes when the people are climbing or descending the hills, a wide angle would make it better because you can catch the landscape more better because the hills are very steep here.
Yes.
And if you try to catch it with a 24, then sometimes you are really losing the landscape.
But
behind.
hasn't it happened to you that with too much wide angle, the landscape kind of disappears?
Yeah,
Like Mount Everest gets very, very small in the background.
yeah,
Can happen.
yeah, can happen. For that reason, these kind of shots we most likely done with Thilo.
Uh-huh. What's your favorite photo thing you brought on this trip? I know you're great in gadgets.
I'm not great in gadgets like others this year. The most,
Oh, come on, you're one of those who has a lot of gadgets with them. Admit it.
the most good photo thing.
Yeah, the one that you like most, that you used most, that is kind of, you couldn't be without. And apart from your camera, obviously.
Apart from the camera, I must admit I haven't really bring anything else.
Uh-huh.
I have the camera, and I liked in the city basically my wide angle lens,
Mhm.
as well as my telephoto 135
Okay,
2.0 lens.
which is a nice lens.
Yeah, but makes no sense here in the landscape, not really.
Right. Is there anything you would leave at home next time? Or did you use the experience from last year to just bring the right things?
I used the experience from last year to bring the right things. I don't have anything which I miss or which I have too much with me, so I almost used anything I have with me. So
Okay. What's the most important thing in terms of photography that you learned on this trek? Did you learn anything new?
that's difficult to say because as far as I remember, this is the fourth workshop for me.
Yeah.
So the question is there still anything to learn?
There's always something to learn.
I think there's nothing specific. What I'm most likely learned, on this trek, is what I've said already, taking pictures of people,
Yes.
because that's something which I haven't done in the last time.
Okay. Did you manage to show the scale of things here? Because look at this. This is so big and huge.
I tried always to get some most likely people, but some kind of scale, common scale,
Some reference.
some reference into the picture, but it's very difficult. And the most difficult part was when we were at the statue of the Buddha, of the largest indoor
The
Buddha.
30 meter, 100 feet Buddha.
Yeah, I took a lot of pictures, but I don't know if any of these is really working out the way, like when you've been there and have experienced it yourself. Yeah.
Yes. You for the large Buddha, you need someone to climb up into his hand, right?
Yeah, definitely. But I think that wasn't allowed there. So.
Really. So landscape-wise, any tips for showing scale?
Most of the time, having something in the foreground, like a rock, like a big rock, you can maybe use as a reference, or as I said, people looking into the landscape or looking at you. And
It's funny, sometimes we try to, or inexperienced photographers try to get everyone out. Don't move away from the shot. But
Yeah.
sometimes the more experienced photographers go, hey, stay there, don't
Stay
move
there.
away.
Take a look in this direction,
Yes.
because I want to see your eyes going into this direction, making a line
Yes.
to Everest or to the other mountains, to the glacier or whatever.
Okay. And speaking of scale, can you explain the Marquardt scale in easy terms?
Not in easy terms.
Then try in complicated ones.
I can explain it in German. No, I won't. I won't explain it. I only can tell most of the time I'm at 2.0.
You're a solid 2.0?
Yeah,
How did you do it?
I took nothing. No medications.
Did you eat anything?
I eat everything we've got. It's difficult.
Superhero.
No. I think my body has been experiences from last year. So
Yeah, well, mine has the same experiences, and I'm up and down on the scale all the time.
yeah, maybe you are not clean enough.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you wanna
No,
tell? Nothing.
nothing except that I like the group, the Sherpas. We have 2 Sherpas from last year. We're really great, and
the new ones?
the new ones as well. I like them.
Thank you.
Eric.
Who are you? Where are you from?
I'm Roger Huff. I'm from US. I live in Japan.
Mind telling me what you do for a living?
I was a Navy pilot and I've been teaching English in Japan.
For how long?
5 years.
5 years in Japan. Where?
Okazaki,
Okazaki.
near Toyota.
Can you say tips from the top floor in Japanese?
Tips from the top floor.
Okay, that was all right. What made you decide to become part of this year's Everest trek?
Well, I watched the Rest of Everest podcast and I've always had an interest in this part of the world. I've trekked in Nepal twice
Okay.
and wanted to come back and see more.
And disappointed?
No, it's been fabulous.
Isn't this awesome?
Every day is awesome.
Yeah, that's what I feel. We're the only ones here, and that's so much different from Nepal.
There are no other people except for a couple of yak herders and their yaks.
So, from a photographic point of view, what things did you shoot most so far?
Well, my photos are mostly just sort of a visual diary, but it's nice to have a lot of photogenic people, the staff and members of the team, to add some humanity to this vast nature preserve. It's so huge. There's not much to photograph except nature
And people.
and the people that are with this group.
Did it change over the course of this trek? Because we started like in cities and we drove from city to city before we started the trekking.
Yeah, that's right. We were photographing a lot of architecture and art, and now it's just mountains and clouds and sky and rocks.
And rocks. And rocks.
Rocks and rocks and rocks.
So, are you more of a telephoto or wide angle shooter out here?
I like to try to make it look like it looks from my eye, if possible, but the views are so immense that it's very hard to do that. So you have to use a wide lens.
Yep, that's one of my next questions. Scale. How do you manage to show the scale of things here? Just the glacier behind you and the mountains and everything is so huge.
Yeah, try to put someone in the foreground, or
So use people for reference?
yeah. Sometimes we can see our camp down at the bottom of the valley, little green dots of tents, things like that.
What's the favorite photo thing you brought on this trek?
Favorite photo thing?
Apart from the obvious.
Yeah, I didn't bring too many gadgets. I guess
It's got to be the camera then.
it's the camera, because it's a new camera and I'm learning to use it and learning by mistakes.
Are you learning on the trek?
Yeah, a lot, thanks to
How long did you have it?
Couple of weeks.
A couple of weeks.
And my tent mate uses the same brand, so he's helping me a lot.
Okay. Is there anything you would leave home next time? Photo-wise?
Photo-wise? Well, I listened to your advice and I didn't bring my telephoto lens.
Did you miss it?
No. No, I really can't think of anything. I'm traveling pretty light.
Cool. What's the most important thing in terms of photography you learned on this trek?
I think it was about processing the photos after. And I'm looking forward to putting them on my computer and working with them. And then taking also what I learned to redo some of my older photos.
Weren't you the one who switched from JPEG to RAW here?
Yeah, halfway through.
Just like that?
Well, looks like a good way to give myself more flexibility in trying to get a good photo out of a bad one.
Okay. Last but not least, can you explain the Marquardt Scale in simple terms?
Simple terms, no.
Complicated terms?
Simple terms. Well, everyone knows number 1 is number 1, and number 2 is number 2. And the scale uses those 2 data points to describe consistency.
Okay.
Right, Mr. Marquardt?
Very well done. 5 minutes 26. Well done. Thank you.
The Rest of Everest is downloaded all over the world every day, and watching the show has become a part of many people's weekly routine. The show will always be free to download, but it's by no means free to produce. Please help me cover my costs by making a small monthly or one-time donation from the right sidebar on my website, and in return I'll give you some cool bonus materials. A donation of any amount will grant you access to some interesting video content, including high-definition versions of several podcast episodes. A one-time donation of $25 or more, or any of the monthly donation options, will additionally grant you access to a downloadable version of the film Everest: The Other Side, which episodes 1 to 61 are based on. I really cannot express how vital these donations are, and if you've made a donation, thank you so much. As always, our announcer is Marlon May, and our music is provided by Wendy Wu. Check her out at wendywu.com. Thanks so much, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching The Rest of Everest. For more information on the expedition, please visit therestofeverest.com.